So I walk up, introduce myself, and I was like, hey, I'm Georgian. He's like, no. I said, yeah, my last name is Tchavtchavadze. He's like, my brother. He's like, I live on Tchavtchavadze Street.
Best country, Georgia! Let's go, man!
Fight hopper-ებს მოგესალმებით. ნოსტალგიორგი სართალია, რომეო 50 ცენტერაძე 97 ეპიზოდი. უღრმესი მადლობა ყველას. ბოლო ეპიზოდზე დიდი გამოხმიანება ჰქონდა ძალიან. დღეს რომის სპონსორშიპი გვეყოლება სტუმარი. რომი მოგვიყევი, აბა ვინ და გაგვაცანი სანამ შემოგვიერთება.
გამარჯობა, ყველას გამარჯობა მოგესალმებით. ხო, დღეს გვეყოლება ქართველი წარმოშობის მწვრთნელი სტუმრად მე Floyd Mayweather-ის დარბაზში არის ერთ-ერთი მწვრთნელი Ben Tchavtchavadze ესე უწერია, ესე ქვია, Chris Ben Tchavtchavadze Instagram-ზე. ეს გვარის ადამიანი თუმეტეს, მაგრამ არ იცის ქართული. დღეს მინდა გავიცნოთ, დაველაპარაკოთ საიდან როგორ არის, ვინ არის, ანუ საიდან არის მაგის ისა რა. წარმოშობა ხო და გავიგებთ ბევრი კითხვები გვაქვს რა, როგორ თუ იცის ვაფშე ჭავჭავაძეები ვინ არიან და ანუ როგორი გვარია
აი აღარ დავალოდოთ, შემოგვიერთა Chris Ben Tchavtchavadze და დღევანდელი ეპიზოდი რა თქმა უნდა იქნება ინგლისურად.
You tune into the Cartwellians on the Fight Pod podcast. Fight Pod, yeah.
How you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
They're good. Thank you. Thanks for joining us. I appreciate it.
Yeah, my pleasure. Thank you.
You look like a busy guy. You're always doing something when I open the thing. So thanks for giving us a minute to talk about a few stuff. This is George, my brother from another mother. He lives in China.
Oh, okay.
And
Hi,
we're
Chris.
doing this for Georgian. Yes, we're doing this for Georgian fighters and Georgian fight fans in Georgian, like this, distance. But,
Okay.
We're going to do this one in English. Obviously, we have Mr. Chris Ben Tchavtchavadze in the house today.
Yes, thank you. Appreciate it.
We have to address the name. Chris, you have a Georgian name, and like we gotta know where that comes from. I mean, are you Georgian? Or consider yourself Georgian, or your heritage, or?
My grandfather was George Ben Tchavtchavadze. He's definitely Georgian. My grandmother was Latvian, and then my mother's side of the family were Canadian. So, but yeah, my grandfather George was definitely Georgian.
Awesome.
And that goes back how many years? Your grandfather?
They escaped the Soviet Union during World War II.
So you're not even the first, you're second generation Georgian.
Yeah.
Would
Your
that be
father and mother were.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Second or third, right?
Second.
Yeah.
Right. Wow. So, do you know anything about Georgia, like, or?
A little bit. Stories from my grandfather as a kid, and the Georgians I've met along the way. Definitely, the last name Tchavtchavadze grabbed some people's attention.
Yeah.
And
about that, how much do you know about that last name? Like, how much can you?
I know it's a big name. I've been stopped in places, and somebody said, "Your name is Tchavtchavadze?" Oh my goodness, and they want to find out everything about me. There's a professional boxer named Levin Gamichava. I think that's his name. His name is the Wolf, and I was at some fights, and I saw his name on the bout sheet. I was like, that's definitely a Georgian name. Let me go say hello. So I walk up, introduce myself, and I was like, hey, I'm Georgian. He's like, no. I said, yeah, my last name is Tchavtchavadze. He's like, my brother. He's like, I live on Tchavtchavadze Street in Georgia. So There's a lot of stories like that, but I really don't know too much of the history. No, I know a little bit about Ilya Tchavtchavadze. I've read about him on Wikipedia, but that's about it.
Wow, and you decided to like keep your name, right? Because it's difficult to pronounce, and I mean, a lot of Americans like do change and simplify their surnames. And what was the choice leading into that decision?
It was never a choice. I mean, there was a lot of history with my grandfather, and I really respect and loved him. I wasn't going to change the name. Plus, I like giving people a hard time with the pronunciation.
It's not gonna work on us though.
Yeah.
Anyway, Ben, I'd like to greet you in Georgian and say "Gagi Marjos Sasiamonoa Sheni Gatsnoba." It means God bless and nice to meet you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Likewise.
All right. Listen, let's get to the flip side of the story now, George. Now let's. We asked about the last name. We asked about our the Georgianity.
Georgianity. Listen, I got a lot more. I want to do a whole podcast about that, you know. Like, but Chris, we are the first independent MMA podcast that Georgian MMA podcast. That we are like a weekly podcast. We've been going on for a year and a half, and we get a lot of young fighters, not just young fighters, veterans as well. Some of them are in the big shows. Some of them are just coming up, starting in smaller organizations, you know, and we're always reaching out to people, you know, so it's an honor and a pleasure to have you here. And do you want to tell us a little bit about your martial arts history? I know you have a boxing background, right?
Boxing background, yeah. I kind of just fell into it probably about 25 years ago. I was always a fitness trainer, you know, personal trainer, strength coach, and I got invited into a boxing class and just kind of fell in love with the sport from there. And next thing you know, I'm training people, and I always had a bad hip as a kid, so I had orthopedic problems. There's a lot of things I couldn't do. If I didn't have the hip, I would have done martial arts. I loved it always growing up. But I figured even with a bad hip, I could probably do boxing. And to me, boxing was just another martial art. And then it kind of just snowballed from there. You know, and I worked with a lot of UFC, a lot of MMA people in the past. But right now I'm primarily focusing on the boxing.
Awesome. So it's been 25 years that you've been coaching? Yeah. Wow, that's amazing.
And tell the people who don't know, because I don't know, maybe we don't know either. Because I was told that you work at the Mayweather Club in Vegas, right?
Yeah.
Mayweather Boxing Club.
At the Mayweather Boxing Club, there's another gym called City Boxing. And then we've been going to Top Rank a lot recently because they just had some really good sparring over there.
Wow, that's impressive. That's very impressive. Ben, where did you grow up here in the States? Where are you from here?
First name's Chris, by the way. Ben is part of the last name. That's
okay.
A whole different story.
Chris.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I was born in Canada, in Calgary, and then we came to Las Vegas when I was 5. So I've been in Vegas for 45 years. Yeah.
So you're like Dana White. You grew up in Vegas.
Yeah. I know Dana. I knew him before he was Dana White.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
What's the difference before and after?
He doesn't worry about paying his bills as much.
Yeah, that's for sure, huh?
Yeah.
We have a lot of young Georgian talent as well, boxing wise. Yeah, and also I want to shout out our boy Goga, who was also a pro boxer, and I was gonna. Goga is Gelashvili. He's in New York right now. Yeah. So I'd just like to, spread the word that if there are any Georgian boxers, or you don't have to be Georgian, but to come and find Mr. Chris Tchavtchavadze at City Boxing, is it?
City Boxing, yeah.
City Boxing or Mayweather, right? City Boxing. Yeah, and do you remember like what it was that made you feel so passionate about? Was it martial arts, or was it only the hands, or What made you fall in love with the sport?
I was always, as a kid, I always loved martial arts, but I couldn't do it because of my hip problems. And once I kind of started getting into boxing, that fulfilled that need for martial arts, I think.
Yeah.
And the thing I really love about boxing is no matter how long you've been doing it, there's still something more to learn, and I've been doing it for 25 years, and I learn something new every day, either, new specific about boxing, or how to be a better coach, or how to understand my opponents. Yeah, it's fortunate to still have a passion for the sport after doing it for so long.
Yeah, and I'm happy when it's so cool to meet people like you who are so passionate about doing something. Like, we're the same way too. Like, we are passionate about MMA, and we will keep doing this as long as we can. You're the same way, and that's very nice. Who now? Listen, I have a. You don't have to answer this if you don't want to, but I gotta ask you this: you see a lot of famous boxers come and go in there, working, and first of all, who's your favorite boxer today? And also, who is the boxer that you've seen there coming in and work the hardest, like impressed you with his work ethic and stuff like that?
I was fortunate to be around a lot of Las Vegas boxers, the old time trainers and stuff. But Floyd has always been over backwards to be cordial and nice to me, and got to be in probably like 5 or 6, 7 of his camps. And man, that guy works hard. I mean, I can't imagine, having $100 million in the bank and getting up and working as hard as he does. It's really inspiring. We get to see sparring that people don't usually get to see, and he does things that he doesn't even do in the fights in sparring. That you're like, did I just go into the Matrix? What did I just see?
That's what I wanted to ask. Like, how does his sparrings look? Because it's one thing to watch the fight, but when you watch the sparring, it's most of the time it's very exciting because the guys are throwing punches and not afraid to try things. With Floyd, how does it happen? Is it the sparring? How different is it from his fights?
Sparring, he definitely plays to the crowd. I mean, there's usually a crowd there. Excuse me. He has his entourage, and usually, the fight's 3-minute rounds. In sparring, the round might be 8, 10, 15 minutes. It's when he decides the round is over, he'll walk back to his corner, take one sip of water, and walk right back to the center of the ring. And in sparring too, I think a lot of times he'll have more fun and try things he normally wouldn't do in a fight. So it's pretty fun to watch.
Yeah. And he was supposed to fight. I think it was like a week ago or something, right?
No, today he was supposed to fight.
Oh, sorry,
today,
yeah, recently, yeah. Right. But
wait, like exhibition or something?
I don't know if it was an official bout or an exhibition bout, but it was against another official boxer. And then the president or king of Dubai died, and they shut the whole country down. So I know they're going to try to postpone it or put it at a different date or something like that.
How old is Floyd, right? I mean, he's over 40, right? Definitely. And there's been many fighters that, like, even after 40, they've been in amazing conditions and all that.
I think he's just been really selective on his bouts. I don't think he's necessarily at this point in his career going to risk it all. Scarman, you got a bit of a leftover of a cold here. Sorry about the cough.
That's all right, man.
Yeah, so I mean, he'll do what he knows he can win, I think, for a while, but I'm not sure how much longer.
And there's been a lot of talk about, this whole MMA versus boxing and YouTubers and all that. And he did actually fight. Was it Logan or his brother?
Yeah.
Man, I get him confused. And what do you think about this? What do you think about this whole thing? Like, they're turning boxing into this kind of more like a celebrity show kind of thing where they just want to, get in there with the pros, but they do profit a lot of money in it.
Yeah. I honestly, people want to hate on them, but they're bringing a lot of attention to boxing. And maybe some fans of these guys that might not have been introduced to boxing get introduced to boxing, and now they become true boxing fans. You know, and I know Jake Paul has done a lot for the sport, you know, getting the fighters he represents paid a lot more money. Serrano, who just fought, I mean, she's made more money than she's ever made in her whole career just in the last couple of fights because Jake Paul has been helping.
There. Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
No, that's, I mean, those are facts. You can't deny them anymore. I used to not like the way he talked to other fighters because I thought like he wasn't privileged enough. Like he was acting like a fighter when we didn't know whether he was a fighter or not. But when he started, the whole thing about the payment abuse, the how little the UFC guys get, and he's making a lot of noise with that too. So yeah.
You know, and I kind of mixed about the UFC thing. I mean, granted, there's nobody making $20-30 million in the UFC, but then there's no boxer just starting off making 15 and 15 either. You know, like,
that's a good point, actually.
Plus all the benefits and all the, you know, the training center and all the, you know, like it's definitely, I don't think they're being completely taken advantage of. There might be some room to make more money, but it's definitely a lot of boxers would love to make that kind of money starting out.
So like the guys on the undercard don't make anywhere nearing the range, right, of like the main event, right? So
no,
there's like a huge gapping there. But
yeah, they might make $1,500, $1,000 for a 4-round fight. That's all they're making. And a lot of these boxers just starting out, they'll have to pay for their fight. They'll have to pay the opponent's purse. The manager will have to pay their purse just to be able to get them to have a fight to build their record. So that happens a lot in boxing as well.
They paid me when I fought amateur, George.
Yeah, they paid you. They better.
Of course, yeah.
They better, man.
in mixed martial arts, not boxing.
Yeah.
So there you go. Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. Yeah.
Actually, I had a lot of questions just coming to my head right now. First of all, just to finish off with the Paul situation, the conversation, have you ever seen their fights, and how would you rate them as a professional coach yourself?
Honestly, you know, they're well-off guys. They're athletic. They, I believe, wrestled before, and they took a lot of time to learn to box. I mean, what else do they have to do? But they hired really good trainers, and they train over and over and over again. And you take a lot of professional boxers, the level of opponents that Jake's fighting compared to who a boxer's fighting in the beginning, you know, like I have a guy having his pro debut next week in Florida. He's fighting a guy that's 1-2. You know, I think Jake fighting a UFC guy is a much tougher level of competition than fighting a guy that's 0-4 or something like that. You know, I think it'll be a long way before he's ready to fight for like a championship or anything like that. But as long as people keep buying tickets, more power to him.
I would like to see him fight. I don't know, Anderson Silva. What do you think? Now that he's back to boxing.
Yeah, Anderson's looked pretty good in boxing. I think Anderson was supposed to fight on the Dubai card on the Floyd Mayweather event too.
Oh, who was he supposed to fight?
I don't know who he was supposed to fight, but I think he was supposed to fight. Yeah.
What's the fight you want to see in boxing today the most? The matchup, because you know how hard it is to get a good matchup in boxing sometimes because all the promotions. What is your dream fight to see right now in boxing?
You asked me earlier who my favorite now is.
Boxers, yeah.
Vasiliy Lomachenko is definitely. I think he might be one of the best that's ever done it. If you look, at the historical great fights, one of those that come to mind would be the Roberto Duran, Sugar Ray Leonard, No Mas fight, right? Like that's one of the great fights of history.
He did that like 5 times.
Lomachenko did it 5 times, right? And these guys, they're world champions. They have power punches. They can knock people out. They didn't quit because their nose is broken and they're swallowing blood. They didn't quit because their eyes are swelled shut. They can't see. They didn't quit because they're have a concussion and they quit because they just didn't see a way of winning. Like, when does that ever happen in boxing before? I mean, yeah, I definitely think Vasiliy is great, and any of the Devin Haney's, the Shakur Stevenson, maybe a rematch with Teofimo. There's a lot of good fights to be had in that division or those divisions.
So what do you think was the reason why he couldn't come out on top in his last fight against Lopez?
Well, he won twice since then and looked phenomenal.
Oh, sorry. I mean, his last loss, right? That was his last loss, right? Yeah.
I think the shoulder definitely had something to do with it. He had shoulder surgery a week after that fight, and I definitely think it affected him. I mean, I would love to see the rematch. I think Vasiliy wants it. I don't think Teofimo does.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the two guys that he beat after, Teofimo struggled with. Lomachenko shut both of them down.
Yeah, no, I mean, you could see in their fight too, when he started to push the pedal, the momentum shifted right away, and Teofimo started losing rounds, one after another. But he started too late. I'm the boxing guy in this channel, by the way.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely. He's the boxing guy.
He did start too late. I agree with you on that. And then he also gave up the last round, which is a big mistake.
Yep. Yeah. And so that's the fight you want to see, the rematch, the most right now. I could.
With Shakur Stevenson or Devin Haney. There's some really good young guys in that division right now.
Yeah. It'll be also nice to see Crawford and Spence fight each other. Yeah. This is a good one too.
I agree. Yeah.
Yeah, this is a good one.
Well, I thought they would have had Wilder versus Joshua or something, or Tyson versus Joshua, but no. But we got Usyk versus Joshua 2. What do you think about that? Do you think it's going to be a different outcome this time?
No. Usyk's got a good style, hard to fight, same coach as Lomachenko. I think there's a lot more adjustments Usyk can make. I think Joshua just does what he does as good as he can. I don't see it being any different.
Yeah, and especially what's going on right now in the world in Ukraine. I want to say glory to the heroes over there. And I remember last time when he defeated Joshua, he went straight to Georgia on a holiday. Did you remember, Romy? Yeah, he went straight to Tbilisi. Yeah, he went straight to Tbilisi, the capital. Yeah.
Coach, what do you think would happen between Joshua and Wilder if they fought? That was the question before Tyson Fury chimed in.
Yeah.
But now that everything happened the way it happened, what do you think if those two fought today? Now after everything that happened, what would happen?
It's hard to say where Wilder is now with his career because he had a couple tough losses. But
makes it tougher on himself too.
Yeah, if it's a boxing match, I give it 100% to Joshua. But if Wilder just comes in there swinging heavy, I think he clips him and knocks him out. Joshua doesn't have that style where he could, not get hit for all those fights, and he doesn't push quite the pace, that awkward pace that Tyson Fury does.
So, what version of Wilder do you think we'll get when he comes back? Just not sure.
I actually appreciate what he worked on for the rematch, like his jab to the body. He looked really sharp and explosive the first few rounds, but I don't think he had trained long enough or got comfortable enough to be able to sustain that over a full fight. If he's been building on that and working on it, then I think he can probably come in and knock Joshua out. If that was as good as we can get from him, then I don't see him winning the fight.
Yeah, let's see if he starts learning to box, and then if he actually gets it. If he doesn't, then it's a problem. Then you got a puncher with the technique. Yeah, but we'll see. Yeah, George, go ahead.
But at the same time, like when Joshua lost his fight against, help me out,
Andy Ruiz.
Andy Ruiz, right? When he lost his fight against Ruiz, the second one was a complete different fight, right? I mean, I don't
Yeah.
know. I can't tell you exactly why. Was it because he made any adjustments, or was it because of Ruiz's? You know, I don't know what he was
in a
eating.
fight.
But
In a fight, there's never one reason. There cannot
Yeah.
be. There's got to be few, at least 10, 15, 20 reasons.
so I mean, would it surprise you much if Joshua did come out on top against Usyk at the second go?
It would surprise me. It would surprise me. Just Usyk's style, his activity rate for a heavyweight is astonishing. You know, and he's not stationary at all. Those are really hard things to make adjustments for.
Well, this is the outcome we're going with. We're definitely standing with Ukraine on that one.
how many rounds did Joshua win last time he fought Usyk? Do you remember?
I don't remember, but I never remember him actually having a moment where I thought he could win.
Yeah. I don't think there was maybe a couple of rounds at most. Yeah. There was some crazy display by Usyk, and you know you got to appreciate what he's done to a guy who everybody thought that was the guy.
Yeah.
For the longest time, and now I mean he did what Lomachenko does to in the lower weight classes. It's unbelievable. At heavyweight. Now, let's go back to Georgia for a little bit, Chris. Yeah. Have you ever been to Georgia? I didn't ask you that. Georgia didn't ask you that.
No, I haven't. I actually have an aunt and uncle that are there right now on vacation from the States. But no, it's on my bucket list. I've never even been to
have to, man.
Yeah.
You have to, believe me.
I met a couple of months ago, I met Mirab Davishvili.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a real fun guy. Just talked to him a few times. He keeps telling me I have to try some Georgian food, which I never have.
Oh my God, you're killing me here. You're killing me over here. Come to New York. Listen, when you're in New York, I'm right here. I'm your man. Call me up. We'll go to a nice Georgian restaurant. Okay.
I appreciate it. I definitely will. Hopefully, a fight brings me out there soon.
And here's the thing: Georgian word. It's not like any other word. It stands forever. When somebody promises you, so you can take me up on that anytime you want.
Okay, I appreciate that.
So make sure you come though.
As soon as one of my guys fights in New York, I'll be looking you up.
All right, brother.
Yeah.
And actually, I had one more question about boxing. As a coach, when you see a talent, right? When you see like a young kid come in, and do you ever feel like, all right, I want to work with this kid, or like how do you choose yourself, your students, or how does it work? Like,
you think you can recognize talent when you first see it, but boxing has so many variables where, you know, somebody might look great in the gym, but then not perform well in fights. But like, there's some kids that I've seen at Mayweather's grow up over the last, you know, close to 10 years. And man, they're really amazing now. Most people already have coaches, and I generally don't go to somebody and ask them if they want to train with me, because I don't know if they have another coach. I don't want to step on another coach's toes. So the majority of the people I have, either they came to me or maybe their manager came to me and asked me if I had any openings to train them. So that's usually the way I go.
Who are they? Are they like? Has there been like a really, really famous people or fighters that you've trained in the past?
Yeah, well, I mean, like say with the UFC, I trained Randy Couture for a few fights.
Oh my God, really?
Yeah,
Randy Couture is royalty, man. The fans today, the post Conor McGregor fans who joined us with Conor, they have no idea who Randy is.
Yeah,
the man won the belt like 6 times in 2 different weight classes.
Yeah, I trained him when what was the Brazilian that was knocking people out with kicks, and Randy beat him up.
Wait,
no.
Who's that?
No.
He's talking about Pedro Hizo. He had horrendous leg kicks. Yeah.
Shoot,
you're talking about Hizo.
No, I'm not talking about. No, not him. I think it was when Randy won the title back.
Vitor.
No.
You're killing me here, man.
Yeah. Now
What fight are you talking about? He fought a
come.
guy. He fought. We thought it was a scary one. The first one, they were afraid for Renzi to get knocked out and whatnot. And then Pedro Hizo, he was crazy. He had crazy leg kicks, and they wanted to like. But who else was there like kicking hard? I don't remember.
Yeah, Brazilian guy. It'll pop into my head as soon as we finish the interview.
Because I'm supposed to know this.
But Johnny Hendricks trained Johnny Hendricks for a few fights.
Oh yeah.
Shane Roller, Jake Rolshot back in the day. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Gina Carano. Yeah, but I trained Gina Carano for all of her pro fights.
Hey, about Johnny Hendricks, does he really hit that? I mean, how hard does he hit? Because in the UFC, people would fly when you would touch him.
He really hits hard. Yeah, he legitimate has TNT in that left hand for sure.
I mean, he knocked out Campman and John Fitch identically. Like they touches them and they fly.
Yeah.
Two same knockouts. It's very impressive. It was that guy. I mean,
yeah. He just loved food too much. Ate too many hamburgers every day.
You like the Texas barbecue, yeah?
Yeah.
I know.
I got a really good a guy named Lionel Thompson, Lonnie B, a super middleweight. We haven't fought for 2 years, but his last fight was a big win over a name guy. I got a guy named Quatavius Cash. He's fighting on June 11th. A good up and coming like middleweight. I got Lydell Rose.
Who's fighting today? You're there for the fight, right?
So I'm here for like creator class YouTube fights. There's a bunch of YouTube personalities that are fighting each other. And I got a guy named Graham Steffen, who's a financial advisor on YouTube, like really sound, good information. He's fighting a guy that makes robots on YouTube. So, yeah.
Yeah, tell them to hurt each other, huh?
Yeah.
They need their brains.
Five 2-minute rounds, no headgear. They're going to be in for a rude awakening tonight.
And that's going to be on YouTube Live, right? Should be, no?
Some sort of pay-per-view, like a $25 pay-per-view. I don't know if it's on YouTube. I'm not sure which platform it's on, but yeah.
Hey guys, listen. I'm still tripping over this Randy Couture fight, and I accidentally started looking at Anderson Silva's record. But listen, I got it here now, man. But we only have 3 minutes, yeah. So before the Zoom call ends, I want to say thank you for joining us, giving us your time, and it was a pleasure to meet you. And obviously, before we go, we'd like to let the people know your social media so they can follow you. And if there's any message you want to say to anyone, it's all yours.
Okay, I appreciate it. Mostly I use my Instagram, and that's at Chris Ben Tchavtchavadze, all one word. ChrisbenTchavadze. Yeah, man, I definitely love it when I get to meet a Georgian and find out a little bit more about myself. Every Georgian I met has had so much enthusiasm about whatever it is they do, about boxing and fighting. It's been a pleasure to meet them. Hopefully I get to meet you guys. I don't think I'm going to China anytime soon, but maybe someday you're coming out there. And definitely when I go to New York, I want to try some Georgian food.
I got you.
But, yeah.
It was awesome.
I just want to, can you imagine how much money would a Georgian pay to see one Georgian teaching another Georgian about their kitchen and giving them the food the first time? Can you imagine trying the Georgian food for the first time? I mean, he's in so much like pleasure and joy. Like if you when you try the Georgian food, my man, I mean that's the best food in the world, and you had that coming into your life. You haven't tried it yet. You're so lucky. I'm jealous, George. You should be too.
Awesome.
Mirab said, Davashvili said I'm missing out, so I'm looking forward to it.
Oh, that's to say the least. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Coach. Thank you very much.
Nice to meet you, Chris.
Anytime you have anything to promote, we're here. We're a small channel, but we're growing. Whatever you have, we can do, and hopefully see you soon in New York. Yeah.
Yeah, please, and anytime I'd be happy to do it again. I really.
Or if I'm in Vegas, I'll let you know because I corner fighters sometimes, so maybe I'll be there.
All right, definitely.
Awesome, guys.
I'll see you around Vegas.
It was nice to meet you, man. Nice chatting with you guys. Fight Hop.
Thank you.
Thank you, Coach.
Peace.